The National Education Association is under fire for a recent tweet, and we have a horrific story about a baby that was found at a homeless encampment. All of that and more here on The Bald Brad Show. Welcome to The Bald Brad Show. It is Tuesday, November 15th, and as always, support the show by hitting that like and subscribe button, as well as leaving your opinions in the comment section below regarding anything that we cover in today's episode. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, our lead story of the day has everybody all riled up, folks. The largest national teachers union in the country took to social media over the weekend to reaffirm its contempt for parents and taxpayers. And like I said, people are just losing it. I'm going to give you my commentary as a teacher as well as a conservative on what I think. But before we get into that, we got to do a little bit of backstory in terms of what took place and what the heck the NEA even is. So in a Saturday tweet, the National Education Association, NEA, suggested that the same people who advocated for stultifying school closures, masking, and the use of experimental vaccines in children know better than anyone else. The tweet was not well received, and that's an understatement. People are all up in arms about this thing. The NEA represents 3 million educators, including public school teachers, staffers at colleges and universities, and aspiring indoctrinaries. More than just a teachers union, the NEA is a partisan force that doesn't simply seek to advance the cause of public education. Not even close. Here's some things, folks, they support: abortion, amnesty for illegal aliens, gun bans, race-based admissions and hiring, LGBTQ activists dictated pronoun use, statehood for the District of Columbia, making race the crux of all educational considerations, and Black Lives Matter, just to name a few. People don't like this organization, folks, meaning this union. According to tax filings obtained by Fox News Digital, during the pandemic, the NEA gave $200,000 to the George Soros-founded leftist group Democracy Alliance, which reportedly helped set up the Democratic agenda. It gave $100,000 to the Strategic Victory Fund, which boosted progressive candidates in battleground states. The NEA, get this, also gave $6.1 million to the New Jersey Education Association, which took out attack ads on parents who were critical of critical race and gender theories. The association also called on social media platforms to censor the speech of concerned parents online. So they already have bad blood with parents, which I get when they released this tweet. Didn't go well. Well, what was the tweet? The tweet from the NEA said, educators love their students and know better than anyone what they need to learn and to thrive. Now, I see it from the parent side, 100%. I totally get it, especially after everything that's come out with teachers saying that they know better than parents in terms of how to raise your children in the classroom, all these crazy things. I'm going to give my opinion when I first read this tweet as an educator. As an educator, I'm thinking back, okay, I went to schooling. I understand the theories and the strategies that are incorporated inside the classroom that will help students learn mathematics the best way. Now, could there be parents out there, and I'm sure there are parents out there, that know better in terms of what strategies are applicable in the classroom? 100%. I'm not an all-knowing power by any means. I also know that students learn in different ways, and the best person that's going to know how that student learns is, one, the student themselves and their parents. So if their parents know of a better way and a strategy that I can implement in the classroom to help their kid learn, of course I would ask them, or hopefully they would email me and let me know. But as an educator, you would hope that you would have trust in terms of me knowing what's best to apply certain strategies in the classroom. For example, like social constructivism, where students can work in groups to obtain certain knowledge and newfound knowledge based on pre-existing knowledge to make new meaning of that very knowledge. Or to use a cognitive constructivism, for example, a theory also known as a strategy, where one would work independently to assimilate new understanding based on prior understanding. And that could be with manipulatives or other aspects in terms of learning mathematics. So when I read this, I'm not advocating for the NEA, by the way. I'm just saying that as an educator, I can understand the other side of an educator saying this of, I may know what's best in terms of some aspects in the educational field of what are the content standards, how do I meet those, what's the best way of learning, what strategies can I apply, all those things. Now, do educators know what's best for raising your son or daughter? Absolutely not. No way, don't agree with that. I'm there to teach mathematics and finance. I'm not there to raise your son or daughter. I could inculcate them certain values that I think we can all agree on, of show up to class on time, turn your homework in on time, heck, be respectful to others, like those types of things. And I think a lot of people just went to the extreme in terms of this tweet, and boy, oh boy, did they, because you got Corey A. DeAngelis, a senior fellow at American Federation for Children and executive director of the Educational Freedom Institute, replied, "They aren't your kids." 100% correct. Not my kids. Students that I'm there to support in their academia and hope that they do the best job they possibly can and support them along that way. They are not my kids. They're your kids to inculcate certain values that you want. 100% agree. DeAngelis posted a survey posing the question, who knows best? And respondents made it clear it's not the NEA, with nearly 99% of over 4,400 respondents answering parents. Turning Point USA contributor Lauren Chen, who I follow on YouTube, wrote, "Please keep telling parents that you know better how to raise their children. Seriously, keep going. School choice is getting a huge boost nationwide, and I feel like we have you to thank for it." And I think there is some truth to that. I think the school district have definitely overextended their arm here and definitely overextended their boundaries. And I think they need to come back to that traditional aspect. And I just want to be clear, there's a lot of people, even on the LGBTQ side, even on the Democrat side of the aisle, that agree with us conservatives and Republicans. It's not our job to raise your children. It's our job to just inculcate them the values in academics that are within mathematics and English and science or whatever it may be. We are not there to raise your son or daughter, okay? And I know there's people that think they are. I know there's people that want to push that critical race theory. I know there's people that want to indoctrinate your children with the trans and all that other stuff. Majority of teachers are not. Libs of TikTok similarly suggested that NEA's post read like an ad for school choice. NEA's recent track record on helping kids thrive, in spring of 2020, the NEA called for all schools to shut down, even though the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, and Prevention had exempted them. The impact of these school shutdowns have been just horrendous, by the way, horrendous. As an educator, what we look for in a normal year is the missing gaps in knowledge, and we try to teach those missing gaps in knowledge that a student obtained from elementary school into middle school into high school. I teach mostly seniors, that we somehow have to fill those missing gaps in knowledge so that they're prepared for college and they don't enter into college with all those missing gaps in knowledge. Well, with not being in school, you just blew the system apart here in terms of what they know and what don't they know. Their behavior is about 2 grade levels behind. So if I have seniors, in actuality, I'm dealing with more like sophomores in terms of behavior. So this had massive, massive consequences. Recent studies have indicated that the decision by the collective of educators who know better has been linked to a significant spike in mental illness, suicide, and obesity, as well as students' diminished immune systems. By the way, I wanted schools to stay open, and the places that I worked at were open the entire time. There was maybe about a couple weeks we stayed closed just to kind of see what we can do, get everything up and running. But for the most part, during the pandemic, I taught in person. I was not remote, like I said, other than maybe a couple weeks here and there. Quote, "Children are still feeling the catastrophic effects of prolonged school closures, all because teacher union leaders wrote the guidance that kept our schools closed." They're not wrong, and that comes from Fox News Digital once again. We also have Politico writing in, reported that Pringle fought the Trump administration over its expressed desire to get children, goodness gracious, back into school. I'm thinking of Pringles, the chips, so I'm thinking of food. Don't you judge me. Pringle went so far as to call former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos resignation for her insistence on educators getting back to the task of in-person educating. You have NEA President Becky Pringle told Politico in 2020 that the NEA would mount strikes, protests, and sickouts, as well as file lawsuits against states like Florida, Iowa, and Georgia in order to block reopening efforts. I mean, as an educator, I think the unions did a terrible job in terms of what they did. I also think they had some pushback in terms of those that they represent, meaning those on the progressive left side of the aisle that wanted all these crazy mandates put in place in education in the classroom before things opened up. I mean, it goes both ways, but more or less, me as an educator looking at this tweet, I do think, honestly, it was kind of blown a little out of proportion. I'm not a big fan of the NEA, but reading educators love their students and know better than anyone what they need to learn and to thrive. There is some truth behind that. I know maybe we don't want to hear that based on, their whole agenda of what we just detailed out. I'm not for all that agenda which they just detailed out. I'm on your guys' side here. Again, I just want to teach mathematics. I just want to do the job. But there is a level of truth that educators do know in terms of some aspects of the education field, of which that's their craft and mastery of what's best for the children in terms of learning, which is what they said. Now, I understand the other side of it, that there's a lot of things that they push here that they think they know what's best in terms of pronouns, transing your kids, putting Planned Parenthood on campus. I understand all that. I'm just giving a different side of how I read it and how I view it as a conservative, as an educator, as a registered Republican. So I understand where Lauren Chen coming from. I understand where all of you are coming from going, what the hell? This is crazy. But it could have been not their intention of what everybody else on the conservative right thinks their intention was. So with that being said, that was our first story of the day. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, folks. Do not comment on other things here. I want to know what you think about all this because it is important because you're all parents or have been parents or grandparents. I want to know how you feel about that tweet and what your opinion was, and was your opinion the same as my opinion? Now, to end on a freaking dark note, we got a horrific story here for our last segment of the day. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. We got an utterly just horrific story here, folks. Early Saturday morning, police received a call about an injured child on a street in Phoenix, Arizona, near the city's largest homeless encampment. I hope you're sitting down for this, folks. You already have your coffee and breakfast? I'm sorry. When police arrived, they found a baby that had been abandoned. The baby was pronounced dead on the scene by the Phoenix Fire Department. This comes from 12 News, a local station. Police said the infant was believed to have been an estimated age between 20 and 24 weeks. The body has been turned over to the Office of Medical Examiner for a post-mortem investigation while police look for information about how the baby was abandoned. Joe Copeland, who lives near where the baby was found, told 12 News that the scene was utterly horrific. They thought it was a doll at first, but it wasn't, he told the outlet. Copeland also said he saw the police outside and asked his neighbor about the situation later. His neighbor reportedly saw someone lighting something on fire. He told me his fiance came and was trying to put the fire out, and then he went to stomp on it to put it out and realized it was a baby in there. Oh my God. Copeland told the outlet he saw the head, a perfectly shaped head, and little arms, hands, legs, chest. He grabbed his fiance and turned away so she would not see it. And he was freaked out. He called 911. What just a horrific story. Copeland added that he wasn't surprised that something like this would happen in the area. That tells you how bad things have gotten in certain areas. Am I not right? I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be thinking about a baby being lit on fire in a homeless encampment, but I know specifically in Venice, in California, you look up in Los Angeles, I mean, we have the biggest homeless population in the country, in the nation, just in one county, Los Angeles County. You have homeless encampments going up all over the place. You got drug users there. They're lighting up left and right. So I would say, I think there's something like early on, it was like every week there was a homeless encampment just going up in flames every single week. So it doesn't surprise me that something terrible would happen, but lighting a baby on fire is it's just crazy. Anything can happen around here, he said. We're right down here in the zone, and anything and everything does happen. The zone is what locals call the homeless encampment, where upwards of 1,000 people, 1,000 people live in tents. Isn't that just astonishing that our government officials just let this happen? Why is this authorized? I mean, it's not just here, right? I mean, it takes place where I live too. When I say that it's gone so crazy, they literally have actual housing on the side of the street. Like, I'm talking full wooden walls, not like planks, not like the pallets you get stuff delivered on. I am talking full walls, working doors and everything. Windows, the whole shebang. It is getting ridiculous. The increase in the homeless population has led to a spike in crime in that area, with theft, assaults, and drugs plaguing the makeshift town. The outlet found that since 2019, police have responded to over 801 incidences within the zone, 278 incidences in 2020 alone. So far this year, nearly 185 incidences have been called in as of September, putting 2022 on pace to surpass the 2021's total calls, which means things are only going to get worse. Where's the officials on this? You can't necessarily blame the cops, right? Because the cops are getting it pushed down from the top. So who keeps getting elected, who's not doing their job, and who's not handling the safety of their constituents? Because they need to be ousted. But like I keep saying, and folks, I'm going to keep saying this for 2 years, till Obama's out, till the next election. Democrats love this stuff. If this is a Republican-ran area, guess who needs to be ousted? All the Republicans of that area need to be ousted. I'm so tired of the crime. I'm so tired of the illegal immigration. I'm so tired of the fentanyl. I'm so tired of babies being lit on fire now. I'm so tired of this abortion push from all these progressive left. I'm just tired of it all. But then you have the Democrats and the progressive left in unison with one another, complaining sometimes. They're complaining about the crime. Oh, well, we're going to shut down our businesses because of all the crime. Then stop voting for it. Stop voting for the people that are allowing this to happen. Stop voting for the politicians that are enabling these policies that enable this type of behavior. How about you let that one sink in? And a lot of people might be wondering, Brad, you've been talking a lot about the Democrat Party more than the progressive left lately. Yes, I have. Before, I used to talk strictly about the progressive left, kind of like what Ben Shapiro does. But if you notice, a lot of the platform from the progressive left has been absorbed by the Democrat Party, and almost, not in all cases, but almost, they're starting to become one and the same, which is why I've been lumping them together so much. There is a difference. There is a big distinction between a Democrat and a progressive left. Democrats still somewhat believe in our Constitution. I know some of you are going to lose your you-know-what over it for me saying that, but it is true. If you actually talk to just a mediocre Democrat, more centrist Democrat, you're going to see that we actually have a lot in common. It's the progressive left that are just losing in all loony bins. They're the ones probably in the homeless encampment. Who knows? But there is some commonality there. But what I've seen more and more is they're shifting more and more left and absorbed by the progressive left. So you got thefts going crazy. You got robberies, rapes, and burglaries also being reported. There have been 6 reported murders and 4 reported arsons as well. You think it would be higher in something like that, huh? These are just the reported crimes. Makes you wonder how many unreported crimes are taking place in something like this. JR, who has lived in the zone for 8 years, told Fox 10 that crime is underreported. Not everybody's going to tell you out there that that's the case. It's just unbelievable what's going on in Arizona. And the pictures that just the aerial drone of all this stuff is just so much garbage, tents, feces everywhere, syringes, needles in the streets. I mean, there are places out there where kids have to walk through a homeless encampment just to get to school. They're walking through people that are literally on the fentanyl crawl. They're passed out from using drugs so much. They're, flashing their private parts everywhere. They're walking around naked. They're literally going to the bathroom in front of children. And the reason why I keep saying this is what Democrats want, because Democrats have not proved that they don't want this. They keep voting for it. They keep voting for these politicians. So I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face that the Democrats love crime. The Democrats love illegal immigration. The Democrats love this LGBTQ transing and indoctrinating your kids with critical race theory and gender identity theories. They love all this stuff. If they didn't, then we wouldn't have had what we just took place in the midterm elections. If they didn't, they do. If they don't, they need to prove us all wrong here. And that's the message that I want to push. If you're a Democrat, one, welcome. Thank you for joining us here on the Bald Brad Show. Doesn't mean you have to subscribe, but if you'd love to, we'd love to have you. But regardless, prove us wrong. Work with us on this. We want to make our communities better. Forget all the crazy stuff that we disagree on. Can we just agree on the fact that crime is bad? Can we just agree on the fact that we need to help these homeless people and get them off the streets? Can we just agree that we don't want babies lit on fire? Can we just agree on the basic stuff that any civilization should agree upon? It's just crazy times. But again, I'm going to keep pushing that messaging, folks. As always, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for 20K, folks. We got 20,000 subscribers here on the Bald Brad channel, and we'll continue to grow here over the next couple of years because you got Democrats and Joe Biden just running this country into the ground. Hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, I will see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show.